Hello, how to fill out IRS Form 944 for 2022. You will go to irs.gov and on their website, you will type Form 944. And it will open the form. It will give you the form and the instructions. So I will recommend you download the Form 944 Employer Annual Federal Tax Return and the instructions. So now that you have the form and the instructions for Form 944, you will need a record of the payroll or wages or salaries that you paid to your employees and officers during the tax year 2022 that you are filing for. So with those three sets of documents, you'll be able to file your Form 944 for 2022. So we are going to download the Form 944. And if you want to download a form and you don't know where to locate the form, you can go to our blog ninasoap.com. It will be in the description, and in the sidebar you'll find a section for federal tax forms. And when you click on it, you'll be able to you can look through to see if there is a form that you are looking for, because when you don't know the title, you type in IRS on IRS website or search bar, you may not find the form you are looking for. So you can go through our website as well, and when you find the form, you can either copy the title to go paste on IRS website, or you can just click on the link and it'll be able to direct you to the form, and then you can save it. So the prior option that I was working on is this one, and then you download the form and you will save it. And now you can open the form. Let's and we can just name it Form 944 for 2022. Okay, so now that we have the form saved, we can go look for the form and we can open it. And I can just close this one. And while that is opening, let's go find the instructions to that form. And it's good when you are trying to file a federal tax form to look for the instructions or the publication related to that form. And if there is a section of the form that you do not understand, you can look for that section on in the publication or the instructions to better understand it. So now we have the Form 944 for 2022 that we are going to fill out. We have the instructions that we can reference, And let's get started. So, how to fill out Form 944? So, the first part is employer. Let me make this a little bit. The first part is employer identification number. So, you put your business identification number on top and you put your business name. So let's discuss this a little bit. And let's see if, okay, so we are the right part here. So on IRS, in the IRS instructions for Form 944, on page 7, they talk more about it. Let me see if, okay. So they talk more about it that you can read. So pretty much what you are going to do is, if you are a sole proprietor and you need to file Form 944 because you have employees that you pay wages to, as a sole proprietor, you put your name, first and last name, on the line name, now your trade name. And then on trade name, if you have a DBA that you file with your state to do business as, you will put it on the trade name line. So let me give you an example. Okay, so before I give the example, let's give the second option. So if you are an LLC taxed as an S corp, your name, the name that will go on the name line, should be the same name that you put on your EIN application form. Even as a sole proprietor, the name you put on your sole proprietor as a legal name, that's like on your EIN application form, that's what will go on the name form as well. But for sole proprietor, it's obvious that will be the name of the owner. So for an LLC tax as an S corp, the name that will go on the line is your legal name. Like on your EIN application form, there is a line that's a legal name for your business, and you put your business name. So that name will go on the first line, then the line for name. And then if you have a trade name, you put it on the trade name line. So now let me give you a session, an example. So for Liberman Consulting LLC example, the legal name, and I will suggest when you are completing the task form, you can just leave your cap on so that all your letters can be capital. So we can put Liberman Consulting LLC as name. That's the legal name. And then for the trade name, we can put Nina Soap as the trade name. In the past though, for name, I'll put my name, my first and last name, and for the trade name, I'll put Liberman Consulting LLC. And I didn't have issue doing that. But this time, when I pull my EIN form, because when you file form, federal or state form, try to make a copy, to print a copy of your form that you are submitting so that you can have one in your file in your record, because you don't know if you will have to reference those forms. So when I look at our EIN form, application form that I submitted, for legal name, I have Liberman Consulting LLC. Therefore, for name, it is more appropriate to put the business name, not my personal name. So Liberal Consulting LLC, and the trade name Nina Soap. So yeah, so that's, and then on the address section, you put your business address. So you can just put suite, and you'll put the city, you'll put your state, and then you'll put the zip code. And just put code here, for example. And please don't forget your EIN number. And then we'll scroll down. So part 1, how to fill out Form 944, part 1. Line 1, wages, tips, and other compensation. So it is the total of all salaries, wages, tips, compensation that you pay to your employees and business officers. So if you are an LLC tax as an S Corp, you are working in your own business, you are an officer. So salary that you collected from your business, the total for the year 2022 will go on line 1. Therefore, it's good to track your if you are the only person working in your business, you have not hired anyone else yet, you might want to track how much you are paying yourself throughout the year so that you will be able to complete Form 944. So if you are now using a payroll software and your business is young, it's just you in the business, you could use a spreadsheet to track your payroll. We have 2 versions on our blog under free download. Let's see if we'll be able to find it here. When you go to our website ninasoap.com under free download, let's go under free download. You should be able to locate it from the homepage, but let's go in. And I think we have 2 versions there that you can open to see which one is better fit for your business model. And you can be modify a little bit to meet your expectation. And please make sure the formula is not broken because you are responsible of your business data. So we have payroll, 1 version here. I think so. We even have those 2 here, and I think so. Let's click on this one. Okay, so one is does not have. In fact, we have 3 options here. Okay, so you can look at them to see which one will work for you. So 1 for sure does not have a footer, unemployment tax column for it. You can add it if you want. Another one has more to it, a little bit more complex, and might work better if you have a staff that you work with and you are now using a payroll software. But federal tax with health record could be might be this one. But anyway, for now I'm using a sample version to track my payroll. So how do you complete your payroll spreadsheet? So there is the amount you want to pay yourself. You can put it under compensation. So you put it under compensation, and let's have an example here. So if we put 270.70 here, and let me just put staff 1, it will automatically calculate the social security. We have some Yeah. So it will calculate the social security that you need to withhold from that $270.70. It will calculate the Medicaid tax to withhold from that $270.70. And if you need to withhold federal income tax, it is good idea to pull publication 15T. And let's go quickly look at publication 15T. Because we pay ourselves just few $100, we didn't need to withhold income tax from that. But if how much you are paying yourself is substantial, you might want to have a method to withhold income tax. So the publication 15 went through it. There is the second option that I like, but the first option is good as well. So let me see if I'll be able to. So percentage method tables for automated payroll system and withholding in periodic payment of pension annuity. So that is a good one. That's a good option you can use, and it has a W4 that you should go with, but then it has the percentage method. The way it works is the salary you are paying yourself, you first select if based on the W4, if you check some boxes. Maybe I'll go through another video for to explain how the income tax withheld works. But depending on if the W4 is simple or if there is some exemption to take into consideration, you use the standard withholding or you use the step 2 checkbox is checked, you use that option. But then you locate whether the person say may refiling jointly or separately or whatever the option is, and you compare the salary. So if you are paying yourself 24,000, let's work with um, 13,000, then maybe filing jointly, you will go with that bracket that I'm trying to highlight in here, and you will take 10% of the difference between um, 12,950 and that 13,000. That if it makes sense. And the amount that they are just annual wages exceeds 12,950. So you take the amount you pay yourself minus 12,950. The result, you take 10% of that is what you need to withhold from that salary. So if you pay yourself 24,000 and you are using the check two box check exception, then 24,000 you will take 1,027.50 plus 12% of 20 your salary you are paying yourself minus 23,225, like that the residual, the difference. You'll apply 12% on that plus $1,027.50, and that's the income, the tax to withhold. So that's how the percentage works. The next option that I like is wage bracket method tables for manual payroll system with payroll with Form W4 from 2020 or later. So they have the W4 that you can go through and pretty much, let me see here, check step 2, figure the tentative holding amount. So I will suggest when you are completing W4, even that's for yourself, you can just make it simple so that you don't have to, it's easy for you to determine the tax to withhold. So with The second option, the wage bracket method for manual payroll system, they have option for weekly payroll method. I don't think the other one has it. The other one has it for the annual. Let's go check it again. This one has, yeah, if they adjust the annual wage. So for the percentage method is about the annual wages that you pay yourself. So the reason why I like this method is I pay myself because our business is still young. Pay myself once a year. So for the annual wages, if you can estimate how much your annual wages will be, or yeah. So pretty much like that, you can use the percentage, but it's more suitable if you are using the software type of payroll system. So the wage bracket is more for manual payroll system. And what that does is you have weekly payroll period. You have bi-weekly, monthly, and so forth. So depending on how often you pay yourself, you will choose what works for you. So let's say you pay yourself bi-weekly. So they adjust a weight amount from line 1. That again the W4 that we came across. You'll take, if the what you are paying yourself is at least, let's say you are paying yourself, let's work with this every 2 weeks. It's low dollar amount, but okay. So let's say you are paying yourself $300. So if you are paying yourself $200 every 2 weeks, or is it bi-week? Bi-weekly, bi-weekly is twice a week. Is it right? Anyway, so I don't know. So bi-weekly, if you are paying yourself $300, okay, so you need to find the bracket. So the bracket has to be at least $300, but less than whatever the next column is, 310. So you fall under the bracket that I selected, not the bracket on above. So 300 to 210. And now you look for your filing status, if that's married filing jointly head of household or single. And if that's single, then standard holding, there is nothing. Form W4 step 2 checkbox withholding, then you select $6. Then you withhold that $6 out of that 300 you pay yourself. So that $6, in fact, I should have taken something. Okay, so let's work with 270 here that we have in this instance. So let's go back again, $270.70. Let's see what brackets for bi-weekly will fall under. And if you are using single column, so we have 270 and 280. So let me highlight that a little bit here. So that's where that $270.70 will fall under. That's that bracket. At least 270, but less than 280. So under single mirror file separately, step 2, checkbox withholding. So what page is that? 15. Let's go back again to the W4. I went a little bit too far. And we have a spreadsheet that a little bit try to copy this model. So you have to select how you are paying yourself here, and you have the the wages based on how often you pay that amount. So I'm looking for step 2. Use the amount online 1H to look up the tentative amount to withhold in the appropriate wages. So pretty much what is going on is divide the amount online, see by the so the first step is allowing you to determine the wages to estimate the wages, and the step 2 is helping you to locate which um, column of tax withheld to use. So give the employee feelings tariff whether the employee has checked the box step 2 of Form W4. So the W4 itself is not here, but this form just helps you um, just assist you into using that W4 and how much you are paying to um, to uh, um, to locate the estimated tax to withhold. So let's see if we have W4 in, yeah, we have W4. And we'll check, let me see what they're talking about here. The boss in step 2. So step 2, they should have, let me make a little bit. So multiple jobs. So that will be the box here. If what I like to do is for W4 is just easier, you complete it simply. So based on how the W4 is completed will affect for every single staff member, will affect how much you will withhold from their wages. So pretty much that's what that is. So, and the step 2 is when people have so if there is only there are two job total, you may check this box. Do the same on Form W4 for the other job. This option is accurate for job with similar pay. Otherwise, more tasks than necessary may be withheld. So yeah, so step 2 just allow you to withhold more from the employees um, um, salary. But again, completing W4, if you're advising your employees, just advise them to complete as simple as possible so that it's a little bit easier on you as well. But the choice is yours. So let's go back to our page 15 again. And let's assume the person want you to withhold more than because the standard withholding will be 0 for 270 $0.70 paid with bi-weekly. For a single, it is 0. But if the person wants you to withhold more money from his or her income because she has other sources of income that might make her 1040 total income high and might put her or him on a higher tax bracket, and the person want to withhold a little bit more, and the step 2 check box is checked, then you will use this colon, and in that case that will be what $3 that will be withheld. It's just example that I'm working with. So that $3, for instance, will go on the federal employment tax section here. So that's how the spreadsheet works. So the social security will calculate for you, but please just check that to make sure it's calculating right for you, the Medicare will calculate as well. And though that is the amount to withhold, I'm going to take this out of the way, to withhold from the employee's salary. And the spreadsheet pretty much will help you determine how much you are going to pay net to the person and how much you are going to hold on to give to IRS later. And then you are going to have the employer social security portion and the employer Medicaid portion as well, that it will calculate for you. And the total that you are going to hold on to will be both the employee and the employer portions, and that will total to 4142. So now let's take this information out of our spreadsheet and let's go back to our work. Since we have two people on the form already, we can work with. So now that you understand how you can use a spreadsheet to track your payroll, let's go back to our form 944, line 1. So total wages on your payroll spreadsheet, that will be the total wages, the gross, and that's 433.20. 433. You will have the dollar on the dollar side of the cell, and you will put the cents on the cent side. So you do not round to the nearest dollar on form 944. You need to have your dollar and your cents. And even if your cent is 0, you need to put 00 there. So I'm just want to make sure 433.20. Okay. So line 2, federal income tax withheld from wages, tips, and other compensation. If you didn't withhold anything, then it is 0. You leave that section blank. Anything that in your case is $0, leave it blank, except line 9. We'll go to line 9 later. So we didn't have any things for line 2, we leave it blank. If no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security or Medicaid tax, check box 3 and then go to line 5. We have Social Security and Medicare to apply. Therefore, we will complete it. But if you don't have payroll, your wages or payroll is 0, you didn't pay wages, then your line 1 will be blank. Your line 2 will be blank. You will check box 3 and then you will go to line 5. But in our case, our line 1 has $1 amount. Therefore, we will complete line 4. Taxable Social Security, and we can just, I have an example here that we can reference because that's what our end result will be. Okay, so let's go back to the one we are working on. So taxable Social Security and Medicare wages and tips. So line 4, taxable Social Security wages. So you'll go back to your payroll spreadsheet and they are asking you for the total wages that are subject to Social Security tax. And it does not include tips. It's just the wages. So when you go back to your, based on the form you are filing, you should design your spreadsheet to be pliable, to be flexible, to allow you to complete your form, the way you are supposed to. Okay, so Social Security wages subject to Social Security is going to be 400. I don't know if this is okay. It's going to be 433.20 as well. So we are going to put 433.20. So that amount you will come by 0.124, the employee and the employer portions of Social Security. So we can pull our calculator here, and we have 433.20 times 0.124. That will give you 53.72. 53.72 cents. And you can check that with your payroll spreadsheet as well. So let's go to the right. We have 2686 from two employees' salary, and we'll go to employer's portion as well, and that's 53.72. If we go further to the right, we have the total, and I try to have Form 944 line 4 colon 2 and 53.72. So that's one way to double check your number. So 53.72, we have it. So qualified sick leave wages, we do not have it. If you do, I will suggest you read the instructions on that. So when you are using the instructions, you can scroll to where the information is if you do not want to read the whole instruction. So they will talk about, let me see if I'm a little bit, okay. So yeah, they will talk about sick leaves. And while we are here, let's mention something for the social security. Let me see if your business is doing well and you are paying yourself a lot of money, you need to know that there is a threshold that you can withhold from that high paid officer or employee salary. So the social security, there is, I believe you will withhold a social security tax up to $147,000 for the year. Let me see. They should have that information somewhere else as well. Anyway, we will come across it. But I will assume you are not paying yourself over $100,000 in your business. But if you do, you need to know up to what point you will collect social security tax from your salary. There is no limit for the Medicare tax. In fact, there is additional to charge if you go past a threshold. But I'm not seeing the dollar amount here. And when you are reading through the instructions, it's good to highlight, okay, highlight what you find interesting that you want to come back to. So however, okay, so okay, I think that's where I was, that we are. So let me go a little bit. Okay, so stop paying social security tax on and entering an employee's wages on line 4A when the employee's taxable wages, including qualified sick leave wages paid in 2022 that are reported on line 4AI, qualified family leave wages paid in 2022 that are reported on line 4A double I's, and tips reach $147,000 for the year. So if you, the officer of your business, you know you will pay yourself more than 147,000, you need to track the payroll in a way that you can track the cumulative of how much you are paying yourself. So when you reach that $147,000 limit, you will stop withholding social security tax from your income, and your business will stop contributing social security tax to that income past that 147,000. So anything else you pay yourself after that first $147,000, you do not pay social security tax on it, but you will continue to pay Medicaid tax, and your business will continue to pay Medicaid tax. And there is a limit for Medicaid tax where you will pay more. So we will probably come back to that. So, but that's they talk about qualified sick leave, family leave, that you can read more about if it applies to you. But what you need to know uh, is, or one thing you need to know is, for the sick leave, the family leave, you collect that from the employee's salary. Your business does not contribute to it. So that's why you have 6.2% for those two, but not 12.4, because 12.4 is twice 6.2. 6.2 for the employee, 6.2 for the employer. But for sick leave and family leave wages that you pay that are qualified, as such, you only withhold social security tax from the employee's wages that are considering sick leave wages. So we don't have any, so we just leave that up, 4AY and 4AYY alone. That's about social security tips. So if your employer collected tips, you put that tips amount in column 1 and 12.4% in column 2. So on tips, you collect 6.2% social security tax from the tips, and your business will contribute will pay 6.2% as well towards social security tax. Okay, so, and you have to enter things in a way that your line 1 and the social security and all of that, they reconcile well, because IRS will compare your W-2 that you submitted to Social Security Administration to your Form 944 to make sure the total wages you reported on line 1 match your total W-2s and the total Social Security matches as well. So wages, sick leaves, tips. For line 1, we have the total of them, but for the Social Security, they break them down. So make sure you know what type of wages should go on which row. So line 4C, taxable Medicare wages and tips. So you will put the total payroll subject to Medicare in column 1, and you'll apply 2.9% on it, and that tax will go on in column 2. And 2.9% is 1.45% withheld from employee's salary, and the employer pay 1.45%. Both combined is 2.9. So in this example, we'll have 433.20, and we'll get our Trusty calculator, and we will do that calculation to double check our number on our spreadsheet. So that's 1256. So anything past 5, you can round it up Anything below 5, you round it. You don't round it. I think it's 56, right? Let's take a look at it. Okay. And we can go back to our payroll spreadsheet. Employee, Medicaid. Okay, employee Medicaid 1.45%, and that's the total for all the employees. And the employer contribution is 12.56, or we can go to the right, and that's 12.56. So the spreadsheet is calculating it right, and our calculator is calculating it right. Okay, so taxable wages and tips subject to additional Medicare tax withholding. So you can read it in the instruction. When you are paying, I believe it's $200,000. If you are collecting more than a certain dollar amount, once you reach that threshold, you will pay $200,000. The excess past that amount, no, not even the excess, the full amount, the excess past that amount, you will withhold, while you are withholding for that 1.45% for Medicare tax and 0.9% additional will be withheld off of that excess. I don't know if it makes sense. But you, the business owner, you are not going to contribute. You are not going to pay 0.9% of Medicare additional tax on that salary that exceeded 200. So let me see where they really explain it. Okay. Okay. All wages. Okay, so you are required to begin withholding additional Medicaid tax in the pay period in which you pay wages in excess of $200,000 to an employee and continue to withhold it each pay period until the end of the calendar year. So again, that tells you if you know you pay yourself more than that, you have your spreadsheet in a way that you can track the payroll for each employee, and you can track the cumulative of that as well to know when you reach a threshold. So additional Medicaid tax is only imposed on the employee. There is no employer share of it. That's what I was saying earlier. You withhold 0.9% from that. In addition to that 1.45%, you withhold that from the pay above that $200,000 and going forward that year. But you, the employer, you only pay 1.45% on that excess salary above 200. You will continue to collect you, the employer, will continue to pay Medicaid tax on salary above $200,000 as well, but you only pay 1.45%, while the employee you will withhold 1.45% and 0.9%. So all wages that are subject to Medicaid tax are subject to additional Medicaid tax withholding if paid in excess of the 200,000 withholding threshold. So, and then they have publication 15 you can read more about. So that's how you can use the instructions to the form with the form as you complete the form. So our total wages on line 1, and it's nothing that because it's by employee, you have to not just track your total payroll, but you have to track how much you are paying everybody. So no one collects such amount in our example. Therefore, we are going to leave line 4D alone blank. So line 4E, total social security and Medicaid tax. So it's going to be line 4A, and that will be the column 2. So you total all the taxes that you entered in column 2 from line 4A to line 4D. And in our case, it's 5372 plus 12.56. And we can go to our payroll spreadsheet and both total to 6628. So that number we will add it to line 4E, 6628. And we need to double check to make sure, yeah, we got it. So line 5, total taxes before adjustment. So line 5, you will take line 2, which is federal income tax withheld, plus line 4E, and in our case, it will give us $66.28. So line 6, current year adjustment. And what that line 6 is about is if due to rounding, the amount you actually withheld from Social Security and Medicare from your employee's salary is a little bit different from how much you should have withheld due to rounding, it will be a plus or a minor entry on line C so that you can reconcile how much you withhold and how much the form say you should have withheld. And if you want to read more about it, you just go to the instructions on line 6. Okay, so adjustment for fraction of cents. Enter adjustment for fraction of cents due to rounding relating to the employee share of Social Security and Medicaid tax withheld. The employee share of amount shown in column 2 of line 4A to line 4D may differ slightly from amount actually withheld from employees' pay due to rounding Social Security and Medicaid taxes based on statutory rates. The adjustment may be a positive or a negative number. So, and there are some other adjustments that, you can read the whole line 6 to see that applies to you. If it does not, you just leave it alone and continue. So we leave it blank because we don't have any, adjustment. And what I will suggest to though is when you complete Form 944, don't mail it in yet. Complete your Form W2 and W3 with SSN SSA to make sure everything matches for you, and you submit your SSA and you mail your Form 944. Don't know if it makes sense. Okay. That way, if something is not matching up, you will, you have the chance to catch it so that you don't have to amend anything. So line 7, total adjustment after total tax after adjustment. So it will be line 6 and line 5. And our line 7 is $66.28. And let's check it with the form we file here to see if we are, yeah, that's the number. Okay, so qualified small business payroll tax credit. So I'm not going to go too much under refundable and non-refundable credit, but if they apply, any of it applies to you, to your business, will you please read the instructions to relate it to the credit to see what, how you will you will claim it. There is additional form that you might have to complete, and there is a worksheet at the end of the, let's see if you can quickly go there. At the end of the return, there is a worksheet that you might have to complete to find the amount that will go on your Form 944, worksheet 1 and 2. Okay, so let's go back to page 14 that we were on before. So we do not have a credit we are going to claim, so we leave line A alone. Non-refundable portion of credit for qualified sick and family leave, we leave it alone, line A, B blank. If a number is $0 for you, you just leave that line blank. But line 9, so the line AC does not have anything. AD, non-refundable portion of credit qualified sick leave, line AD, we leave it alone. Now we are coming to part 1, page 2. You will enter your business name, the legal name that you have on top. You will enter at the top of page 2 and page 3. And make sure then is the number you use you have on your EIN application form. So let's just copy that or not, and it will go on page 3 as well. And make sure when you print this out, you check to make sure all your pages has your business and name and your identification number. So now let's go back to page 2, part 1, line 8E. We are not going to claim any Cobra Premium Assistant credit, so we leave it blank. We are not going to claim, there is nothing that will go on line 8F for us. There is, since there is no one that is that credit that credit is related to. So line A, G, total non-refundable credit. So you add line A, line 8A to line 8E. And in our case is 0, so we leave a blank. Line 9, total taxes after adjustment. Total taxes after adjustment and non-refundable credits. So you will subtract line 8G from line 7. So line 7 has our total tax after adjustment minus line 8G0, and that will still give us $66.28. So if in your case, so far you didn't have any payroll, you have 0 wages paid, and your line 1 is blank, your line 2 is blank, you check box 3. You check box 3 because you didn't have any social security and Medicaid tax, and you go to line 5. Your line 5 is blank. Everything is blank. Your total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit for line 9 will be 0. So in that case, you'll put 0, 0. But I plan on having a video on how to complete Form 944 if you have 0 wages. So that's how you will complete it. you will put $0 on line 9. Everything else you leave it blank and put your business information where it should go. But dollar amount wise, you just leave the other lines blank and put 0 on line 9. But in our case, it's not 0. Line 7, total tax minus total non-refundable credits give us $66.28. So our line 9 total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit is $66.28. Line 10, total deposit during the year. So if you make deposit during the year, or there is overpayment from last year that you want to apply to this year and you have it with they hold it for you or they held it for you, you put that amount on line 10A. If you make deposit during the year, you'll put that amount on line 10A. In our case, we didn't make any deposit, so therefore it's going to be blank. Line 10B, we are not going to put anything there. C, none. So line 10, the refundable portion of the credit that I talked about above on line 8, and yeah, the refundable portion of it will go on line 10. So if you have that, you might want to go through the instructions to read how to complete that portion and learn more about it. So you can see they go through it and they have the refundable portion as well. Okay. I'll say in our case it's going to be left alone. So refundable line 10G, refundable portion of Cobra alone, we leave it alone. Total deposit and refundable credit is line 10H, is the total of line 10A, line 10D, and line 10F, and line 10G. Starting with line 10A, the deposit you made during the year or the money that you asked them to hold on to for you to apply toward this year, you'll use that. But in our case, it is 0. Therefore, our line 10H will be blank. Okay, so now line 10I, there's nothing that will go there. Line 10J, nothing will go there. Line 1011, balance due. So if your line 9, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credits, is more than your line 10H, total deposit and refundable credits, well, you owe money. So the difference between line 9, total tax, and line 10H, total deposits, for us is $66.28. So if in your case, your line 10H, because you made deposit during the year, your line 10H is more than your line 9 total taxes after adjustment and non-refundable credits, you have a refund. So it will go on line 12. So if line 10H is more than line 9, enter the difference on line 12 and check the box whether you want them to send you a refund or you want them to apply it to your next return. So in our case, it's just line 11 because we owe $66.28 in our example. So we leave line 12 alone. So part 2, Form 944, part 2. So part 2 is asking a little bit about your business tax liability. So line 13, line 9 is less than 2,500. If so, you check the box and you go to part 3. So generally, you will file Form 944 if your total tax liability is less than $1,000 for the year. And pretty much you know, total tax liabilities. No, in fact, it's not going to be there. It's going to be line 9. If it's less than $1,000, you'll find Form 944. But again, it is determined, the form you are going to file is determined when you submit your EIN application form, but it's based on that line 9 will be less than $1,000 a year. Therefore, you are required to, they will ask you to complete Form 944 instead of Form 941. Okay, but when it happens that your line 9 is 2,500 or more during the year, you are automatically required to make deposit during throughout the year. So, but again, it's all about how you are tracking your taxes. So in our case, it's less than 2,500. So we'll check the first bus. But if your line 9 is $2,500 or more, then you will be required to enter your tax liability for every single month of the year, because IRS want to see at what point you cross that 2,500. It's not so much because of if you should file Form 944 or not, but it's to figure out if you made your deposit or not. Because if your total liability is less than 2,500, you can make deposit, but if it's 2,500 or more, you should make deposit. You must make deposit. So if you are semi-weekly scheduled depositor, or you became one because you accumulate $100,000 or more of tax liabilities on any day during a deposit period, you must complete Form 945A instead of the boxes below. So if you are not a semi-weekly depositor, and let's talk about that a little bit. At the beginning of the year, you have to choose your deposit schedule. So you can be monthly, schedule depositor or semi-weekly schedule depositor. So in the form they explain it as well, but you'll find it more in publication 15, I believe. So, and I will have my article in on our website that you can assist. I mean, you can go through as well to help you. You know, um, once I read through it and post the article, it will be there as well, and the link will be in the description with all the type of publication that you can find your information in if you want to read more. So there is a way to determine whether you will need a semi-weekly scheduled depositor or a monthly scheduled depositor. So you will choose. So by default, I will say if your income will be low, you will be a monthly scheduled depositor. But if your tax liability surpass 2,500 or more, you should make your deposit you know during the year. So you are going to complete line 9 in that case, and again, the way you will track your payroll will be different. So you will adjust your spreadsheet so that you can track your payroll on a monthly basis now, on the quarterly basis that I have here as example. But you will need to track your payroll on a monthly basis. It's not about how when you deposit or how much you deposit is more about when you pay, when you pay wages, that those tax liabilities are due. So you put that amount on the period that they belong to for all the month, and the total will go on line 13M. And let's go to Form 945A to take a look at it. Does not apply to our example, but if it applies to you, you can take a look at it to see how it looks like. And again, it is on our website as well. The link is there. That is the instruction. So the instruction will tell you how to complete it. But let's find the form itself. And I hope I have the form. Or no, I think I have the form here. Okay, so the way the form is designed, if you want, you can use it to design your spreadsheet as well. Or if you start with one of our free download, you can adjust it. But is if you have to complete Form 945A, it's pretty much telling you every single day of the month the payroll tax liability on those days, the day that you you pay wages, you'll put the tax liability there as well. So I think in fact it could be a good template to duplicate and have as a spreadsheet to help you track your tax liabilities. Even if you have a summary page, everything pulled to like this to help you file your form, you could add that layout as a tab where you can track everything at that detail level to help you file Form 945 if you have to file Form 945. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so, and that is for semi-weekly schedule depositor. And I don't really want to talk about monthly depositor and semi-weekly depositor, but let me see if my notes will point me. In fact, let's go to the instructions to see. It's not talking about it, but it will tell us the publication. So that's publication 15, section 8. So let's go pull publication 15 and look at section 8. And I will try to see if I can have some video to explain more the schedule depositor as well. Since we are at the beginning of the year, it might be something to consider if you are having employment tax liabilities and you'll be paying let me just go to page 1 here, and you pay tax, you file employment tax returns so that the rule. So I'm going to, this is section 8, deposit in taxes here, withholding. So let's try period. That's section 8. So that I just went to the beginning of the form, publication 15. I want to use the reference tab to quickly locate it. But depositing taxes here. Okay, so let's try 21. Okay. Okay, so pretty much what they are saying here is if you do not have a regular pay period, what you do in that instance. So, and let me make a little bit less here. Page 32. Okay, I think I'll just continue. Let me do 32 here. Okay, I think they start talking about it already around this area. So deposit. Okay, how to deposit. Depositing taxes, I believe section 11, page 27. Depositing taxes, section 11 of publication 15. It will be a good session to read, to know how to help you decide how to choose a deposit schedule for the year 2023. You know, so they have two deposit schedule, monthly and semi-weekly. So, and the deposit schedule for Form 941 is different from the deposit schedule for, no, not really the deposit schedule, but how to determine it is different for Form 941 and for Form 944. So, if your business is new, or your business is not new, but you just start hiring or you just start paying yourself, it's like if you are a new employer. So your tax liability for any quarter, let me make sure I'm not reading, for any quarter in the lockback period before you start or accrue your business is considered to be zero. Therefore, you are a monthly scheduled depositor for the first calendar year of your business. So, yeah, so by default, we are monthly deposit scheduled depositor, but there is instances that will pull you to semi-weekly. If your tax liability is $50,000 or more a year, you'll be a semi-weekly depositor, and they have things for it. But let me go back down a little bit. I'm looking for 494. Okay, so yeah, and if you are a new business, you just start paying yourself, there is not much look back to work on. But pretty much the way the look back works is, okay, we are in 2020. Okay, we are filing tax return for 2022. No, but we are deciding the deposit, the the deposit schedule for 2023 year. So you will look at 2021 tax return for your business. It could be your business is now new, but maybe you were not paying, you didn't have wages in the prior years, or you have it, but the way you decided is you take 2 years, two prior years. So for 2023, your second prior year will be, I don't know if I'm saying it well, but it will be 2021 tax return. So you will take that Form 944 and you look at line 9. You see the way we are complaining the tax here? your line 9, total tax after adjustment. If it's $50,000 or more for 2023, you will be semi-weekly depositor. You will have semi-weekly schedule. And that's for Form 944 that we are talking about. So let's go back to the publication we are using here. So, but the way it is here, they are talking like if it was the beginning of 2022, like last year, begin January 2022, you are trying to figure out your look back, you use 2020. But for 2023, your look back will be 2021. So, did I go too far? So they explain it here. So if you are a Form 944 filer for the current year or either the preceding 2 years, your deposit schedule for a calendar year is determined from the total taxes reported during the second preceding calendar year, either on your Form 941 or for all 4 quarters for of that year or your Form 944 for that year. So your look back period for 2022 for Form 944 filer is calendar year 2020. But for look back period for 2023 to set your schedule this January 2023, your look back for Form 944 filer is calendar year 2021. So if you reported $50,000 or less taxes on your look back period, you are a monthly deposit schedule depositor. If you reported more than $50,000, you are a semi-weekly depositor. So if you are a semi-weekly depositor, then you have Form 945 to complete. Therefore, it's good you keep track of your payroll, at that detail level. And Form 945 will be filed when you deposit, when you make your deposit, since it goes together. Or the data you will submit will be in that layout. So, but if your tax liability is now $50,000, and again is your monthly depositor if you reported $50,000 or less. So that $50,000 is included, unless your monthly schedule depositor. But if it's more than $50,000, then you are semi-weekly depositor. So if at any point during the year your tax liability is at any day during the year your tax liability is $100,000 and you were monthly depositor, you will automatically become semi-weekly depositor, and you will deposit that liability the next day, the next business day, but then you will remain semi-weekly depositor for the rest of the year. So there is that $100,000 that tax liabilities. Now income is tax liabilities, employment tax liabilities. So, but yeah. So now that we went through it, I think they have semi schedule the way it works as well that they explain. But the monthly deposit schedule, so they have for Form 941, but let's see if they have something for Form 944. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what we want to say about that. They have some example to help you understand it. But let's go back to the instructions. So I thought the instructions has a table somewhere Okay, we'll come back to that. I think we might find a table there, but anyway, so now we explain a little bit the difference between semi-weekly depositor and monthly depositor. You need to choose something for 2023. But again, there is that things that if your taxes is small, you can just pay with your Form 944, and that's what I do for our business at the moment. But again, it's because we have payroll once a year, but toward the end of the year. But it's good you make tax deposit during the year if you can, even if you are below 2,500 threshold. So now that we explained this the line part 2, line 13, the first box is checked because we have $66.28. Tax liability is less than 2,500. So we'll go to part 3 and page 3. Your business legal name will be on top and your business identification number will be on top. So part 3, line 14. If your business has closed or stopped paying wages, you check that box, otherwise you leave it alone. And then if so, you will enter, you know, when you last pay wages. So what happens if you sold your business, let's say you sold your business in March, you'll file Form 944 for January to whatever March that the cutoff was. If you pay payroll within that time frame, you'll file Form 944. If you pay payroll within that first 3 months, you'll add it to your Form 944. If you didn't, then you don't add that, but you still file Form 944 for that year, for that portion of the year that you have your business, you do it. And then the new business owner will file Form 944 or whatever form that business owner is supposed to file, Form 944, Form 941, whatever is required from that business owner to report the last 9 months of that year that that person acquired your business. So if you close your business, that's the same thing. If you wanted to move to something else and you close the business, you'll file Form 944 for that year and you'll report the wages you paid during that number of months that you have the business, and you report it as well. But either way, if you are supposed to file Form 944, you file Form 944. If your business closed, you will check the boss. That way they know that for the following year they are now going to expect Form 944 from you. So line 15, qualify health plan expenses. So again, line 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, they apply to you. Will you read the instructions? In our case, we are going to leave a blank, including line 23 and line 24, line 25 and line 26. We leave them blank. But the instructions will have instructions for you to assist you if you need to complete those part of the 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 form. Okay, so part 4, Form 944, Employer Annual Federal Tax Return. So do you want to allow an employee, a pay tax preparer, or another person to discuss this tax return with IRS? If yes, you'll enter the person's name and phone number, and the person will choose a PIN that you'll add there. Usually I just choose no. Part 5, Form 944. So you'll add your tarot. You will add your name first. Let me take it out of there. You'll add your title, and then you'll add your phone number, whatever that is. So let's talk about part 5 a little bit. So who is allowed or who is authorized to sign Form 944? You'll be able to find more detail on page 21 of IRS Instructions for Form 944. If you are a sole proprietor, that's you, the owner, that will sign. So you put your name, your title, and when you print the form out, you will sign it and date it. If you are an L.L.C., that's as a partnership or an organization that is now in, don't know, incorporated. So that will be the members that have good knowledge of your business, information. Pretty much the members that work in your business and know knows know well about the business. So any one of those members will be able to put their name, their title, which will be member, and sign as well and date it. If you are an LLC tax as an S corporation or you're an S corporation, any officer of the business, and by officer, they are more the partners, the partners that are working in the business are called officers. So any one of them will be able to sign and their name and their title will be on the form. So, and let's see here, a single member LLC. So if you have an LLC and you are just one person, you are only one owner of that LLC, for tax purposes, you are considered like a sole proprietor. So you put you the owner are the is the you are the one that will put your name, your title, and sign it, just like the sole proprietor option. So now let's go back to that. So as an LLC tax as an S corp, I'm an officer of the business. I put my name, my title, the phone number, and when I print it out, I'll be able to sign it and date it. So when you sign it and date it, you will make copy, and that second copy you can keep it for your business record, and the one that you sign is the one you will mail to IRS. So make sure you have one for your business. So part 5, paid preparer use only. So if you paid a tax preparer to file your Form 944, expect them to complete the pay preparer use only section with their name, their firm's or business name, their address, their P10 number, their EIN number, phone address, zip code, and all that. And when it is printed out, the tax preparer will sign and date. So if the tax preparer is a self-employed, that boss will be checked. But if that boss is not checked, so firm's name, you will put that name. So yours is self-employed. So if you are self-employed, you will put your name there, and that boss will be checked. Otherwise, you put your firm's name. If an employee of your business file the Form 944 for you, that person does not complete pay preparer use only session. For instance, I'm an employee of Liberman Consulting L.L.C, but I'm paid to work in the business. if I'm filing Form 944 for Liberman Consulting LLC, I will leave Pay Prepare or Use Only section alone. Even though I'm a tax preparer and I have PTIN number, I'm not filling out Form 944 for Liberman Consulting and charge Liberman Consulting to pay me for it. Therefore, I will not complete Pay Prepare or Use Only section. But let's take another example where I have Liberman Consulting LLC and I have another business. Let's take one of our business, or let's just say business B, and business B is required to file Form 944. So if I file Form 944 for business B and business B paid Liberman Consulting LLC for that Form 944, then I will complete Pay Prepare Use Only section for that business B. I'll put my name on the Prepare Name section. I'll put Liberman Consulting LLC for the firm's name. I'll put the address for Liberman Consulting, the city, the state, the zip code, the phone number. I'll put Liberman Consulting LLC EIN number, and then I'll put my P10 on the P10 session. And then when I print it out, I will sign it, date it. I will make 2 copies, and I'll give those 2 copies. In fact, I'll make 3 copies. I will give 2 copies to business B, one to mail to IRS, one to keep in his record, and I'll keep one in Liberman Consulting LLC record for filing taxes for business B. So that's how the Pay Prepare Use Only section works. But if you are filing for your business or somebody in your business is doing it for you because they have good knowledge of taxes, or you explain it to them and they are doing it, you are not paying them for that. Therefore, they do not complete that session, or you do not complete that Pay Prepare Use Only session. Leave it alone. Just like the way we are leaving it alone for Liberman Consulting. Because Liberman Consulting is filing its own taxes, and I'm not going to charge Liberman Consulting to pay me for that. I'm a part of Liberman Consulting. So we are going to leave it alone, and we'll go to the voucher, Form 944 voucher session. Okay, so they will have some information here for us. So if your line 9 total tax liability, no, your line 11, let's go back up a little bit. Your line 11 total balance due, let's see, you see, balance due. So if your line 11 balance due is okay, here they are saying line 9. If your net tax for the year, line 9 are less than 2,500 and you are paying in full with a timely file return. Yeah, you can file your return with that, but I don't think it will be line 9. It will be line 11, the balance due. I would think so, but they are using line 9. I'm not sure why. So your net tax for the year from 944 line 9 are 2,500 or more, and you already deposited the taxes you owe for the first, second, and third quarter of 2022. Your net tax for the fourth quarter are less than 2,500 and you are paying in full the tax you owe on the fourth quarter of 2022 with a timely file return. Okay, so I think it will be more line 11. But again, this section here, this paragraph made sense. So they are using line 9 as the point. So if your line 9, that's the total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. So total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. So if line 9 is less than $2,500, if it's less than 2,500 and you are going to file your Form 944 on time, you can pay the tax liability with your return. And I'm not sure why they are going with that because, okay, they say making payment with Form 944. Because if you make deposit during the year, line 11 is what is going to determine your residual, because you have line 10, that is the deposit during the year, and then line 9 is the total tax, line 10 is the deposit, and then the line 11 is the difference between the two. That's why line 11 makes sense more to me to reference to, but they are using line 9. So if your line 9 is less than 2,500 and you are going to file your Form 944 on time, you can make payment with your form. But if your line 9 is $2,500 or more and you made some deposit during the year and how much you have left to pay, which will be that line 11, if it's less than 2,500, you can make that payment along with your Form 944 if you are going to file your Form 944 on time. And by filing it on time, means you file it by January 31st. But if you are not going, if you made all your deposits and you are not going to make payments with the form, I believe you have up to the beginning of February or sometime in February is on in the instructions at the beginning of the instructions. So, but I just like to go with the end of January so that I'm sure I'm filing on time. So that's that. But if let's see here, if you are a monthly scheduled depositor making a payment in accordance to with the accuracy of deposit, whatever that is, and in this case, the amount of your payment may be 2,500 or more. So if you are a monthly depositor, so that means every month you make deposits and they have that case that if your amount, your payment, if your amount is more than 2,500, I think pretty much what they are trying to say is the last month payment, you can make that with your tax return Form 944 if you are filing it on time. But again, I want to um, read publication 15 section 11 for more on that. But I just like to take one rule and just go with it. So if it's less than 2,500, you can pay it. If your line 9 is less than 2,500, you can pay it with your form when you submit it. If it's more than 2,500 and you make quarterly deposits, is that what they say? Quarterly, you deposit your, yeah, you make deposit during the year and your last quarter is less than 2,500, you can make that payment when you file your return. So in our case, it's $66.28. So that means we can deposit that or we can make payment with the return, and we'll choose to make payment with the return. So how do you complete Form 944V for 2022? So you will put your first, you will put the dollar amount on line 11. That's the balance due. That's $66.28. We'll put that amount on the Form 944V because we want to make payment with the form. You put your business EIN number, or you put your business name, or you put your name if you are sole proprietor. You put the address, the series zip code, on it, and then you'll get your check and you will complete the check. So how do you complete the check? You can use money order, you can use the check. I noticed that the money order does not have enough space for you to put your information on it properly. So you can use the check or you can use a money order. So you will put on the check, you will put pay, like where they have payable to, you will put in United States Treasury. And then you put the dollar amount, you put the dollar amount in letters as well. And then you enter your EIN number on that check. You enter, where the memo section is. You will enter Form 944 for 2022. So make sure you have Form 944 written on the check, the year you are paying for 2022 written on the check. Make sure you have your EIN number on the check, and I assume the check is a business check, therefore it has your business name on it. Otherwise, why not adding your business name on it as well? So, but make sure payable to is to the United States Treasury, and make a copy of that check. So once you complete everything, there is a table I mentioned it earlier, and let me see if I find it somewhere here. I don't know if that's your publication, but anyway, I will have to. Okay, yeah, that's this table here. So yeah, let me see if they say who must deposit, who must you deposit your taxes. So let's talk about that a little bit here. So yeah, and I think I mentioned it earlier, but yeah, if your total tax after adjustment is less than 2,500 for the year, you can pay the tax with your return. So, but I mean, you can deposit it as well, but you can pay. You don't have to deposit the tax. However, you may choose to make deposits. So, okay, and the 2,500 threshold at which federal tax deposit must be made is different from the amount of annual tax liability 1,000 or less that makes an employer eligible to file Form 944. So yeah, and I brushed those two things earlier, but the table that I was looking for is this one. So um, federal tax deposit requirement. So if you are not sure, you can read it. So if your total tax liability will be less than 2,500 a year, no deposit is required. You may pay the tax with your tax return. If you are unsure that your tax liability for the year will be, they say will be. So that means you are deciding at the beginning of the year or at some time during the year for what that will be at the end of the year. Will be less than 2,500 deposit under the rule below. So if your tax liability is 2,500 or more for the year, but less than 2,500 for the quarter, you can deposit by the last day of the month after the end of the quarter. However, if your fourth quarter tax liability is less than 2,500, you may pay the fourth quarter tax liability with Form 944. And we discussed that when we are discussing the Form 944V. So if your tax liability is 2,500 or more for the quarter, you must deposit your monthly or semi-weekly depending on the deposit schedule. But if you accumulate $100,000 or more taxes on any day, you must deposit the tax by the next business day. And they talk about that there as well. So you have that table you can reference as well. Well, anyway, so now we complete the whole Form 944. We have a balance due and we decided to mail it with the Form 944. Therefore, we complete the Form 944V voucher. So now that we are done completing the form, we are going to print it out and we are going to sign it, date it, and make a copy to put in our business task card or folder, and then we are going to put the Form 944 in an envelope ready to mail. Okay, so they have instructions somewhere. I don't know, but it should be somewhere here. But anyway, when you are going to mail your payment with your Form 944, you will staple Form 944 all by itself, the 3 pages. If you have other worksheets and attachment or other form that went with that Form 944, you staple them together. You'll have your Form 944V, the voucher, separate from Form 944. And then you'll have your check. So you'll have 3 things in the envelope: the Form 944, Form 944V, and the check or the money order. So what I like to do is, let me make sure I'm showing this. Okay, so we will talk about the address, but you put the address on the envelope, and because sometimes at some point I'll work on different type of forms, I like to click something on it. But what I wanted to talk about is that I like to use a smaller envelope, and then I will write Form 944 and check payment, something like that on the envelope. That will have the voucher, that will have the check, and then I will put Form 944 in the big envelope, and then I'll put the voucher and the check on the small envelope, and then I'll put it in the big envelope. That way the voucher and the check are together because they are smaller sheets compared to the full printing sheet of the Form 944. I like to put those 2 pieces in a smaller envelope and put in the bigger envelope where the Form 944 is. But don't staple the check to Form 944V, and don't staple Form 944V to Form 944. Keep those 3 things separate in the envelope. Okay, so now let's go back to when you print things out, there is a line here for you to cut the voucher. So that's why we'll make the voucher small. It won't be a full page. But so now that we have everything together now, where do you mail IRS Form 944 with payment? So let's go to the instructions, and it should be page 8. Yeah. So I think they should have a little bit here as well. But let's start from the bottom. So if your Form 944, you are going to mail it with a payment, make sure you pay attention to with a payment colon and locate the address that corresponds to the road that has your state name. That's the address you put on the envelope. So in our session, we are going to make payments. So we are looking at the payment section, and the address that corresponds to our state, Iowa, is the address we put on the envelope, and that's the address that I have on the envelope. Don't know if I'm showing it well, but yeah, that's what I have on the envelope. So double check your envelope, just double check the address, and if you print the instruction and you are reading through, once you come across the address, maybe get your envelope, put the address on it, put on the side, and continue completing the form. So if you choose to make a deposit, you are going to make a deposit and you file Form 944, there won't be a payment included in the envelope. You do not complete Form 944V. You don't complete it. You print your Form 944 out, you sign it, you date it, you make copy for your business record, you put in the envelope, and you come to page 8 of IRS Instructions for Form 944, and you look for without a payment colon, and you choose the address that corresponds to your state role, and you put that address on the envelope. And when you have the right address, you have your form or your forms in the envelope, you seal it, you mail it via USPS, and you ask for a tracking number that you'll be able to track online to make sure IRS receive it. Yeah. And if one thing that I like about paying with check rather than money order is when IRS withdraw that amount from your bank account, you will notice it as well. And that's a second proof that they receive what you send them. And that receipt you get from from USPS along with the green receipt that they will give you, make sure you file that with the copy that you are keeping in your record for your business. And that concludes how to file Form 944 for 2022. So thank you so much for your time. I'm Afiavi Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and ninasoap.com, our blog. We thank you very much, you all that subscribe to our channel. We thank you very much for watching our videos, and thank you very much for all your comments. We have our website where we have free download you can access and to see if there is a template there that is useful to help you manage your finances or manage your business, and you can download it. You don't need to enter your email to access the free downloads, but we are happy to have you join us. So, and we have the federal tax form instructions as well, where we are compiling the list of different type of forms and links that you can access if you are looking for a form and you are having a little issue finding it on IRS websites. You can visit it to see if we have the form listed here that you can copy the name to go paste it on IRS website, or if you can just click on the link to open the form. So, and yeah, thank you so much for your time. We do have our digital download website as well, liberdownload.com. We do sell some digital templates as well, but you are free to check our um, blog to see what we have there available for free. And we have our articles as well, and I will have the full article for this form on our blog along with captures as well in case you wanted to um, find some. You'll have the full articles there. So thank you so much for your time.